Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. What God cannot do does not exist. Daylight, you heard me right. Yes, so what God cannot do does not exist. Yes, my beloved Daylight. We have won at the end of the day. And, before long, our joy will be complete. OFARENDE was a complete triumph. Yes, so you heard me right. OFARENDE was a complete triumph. But the question a lot of people are asking was, why did Ebony, why did Ebony stand there with a broken face while everyone was rejoicing? They said that while everybody was rejoicing, Ebony stood there with such a broken face. She was so disappointed. Apparently, the whole thing would be like, with everything I've had to go through, with everything that I have sacrificed, or more, this thing has ended up happening. This is what we are hearing. They said that was exactly what happened to Ebony on the day OFARENDE became a complete success. The whole palace was vibrating with joy. People were moving up and down, smiling, laughing, hailing, congratulating each other. Elders were shaking their heads in satisfaction because the ceremony went smoothly. Even those who were nervous before became relaxed. It was as if a heavy cloud had been lifted from the entire kingdom. They said Dr. Sapphire was celebrating openly. Blo was dancing up and down, almost jumping on everybody. Adetutu, stood close to, the Great Lion at some point when she left Ebony with calm pride because she knew the work done behind the scene had spoken for itself. The Oshogbo Obas were praising the Great Lion loudly. OFARENDE was successful from beginning to end. No incident, no error, no embarrassment. Everything flowed like, clean water. But as all of this joy was happening, Ebony stood in one corner with a face that looked like she was crying. Carrying a stone on her chest. They said people, noticed her, but they pretended not to look too long. Some whispered to each other, but most people were too excited to pay attention to her for more than a few seconds. Only those with spiritual eyes understood why her face was that way. Ebony wasn't angry because OFARENDE, went. Yeah, she wasn't angry because OFARENDE failed. Because OFARENDE did not fail. Ebony was hurt because it succeeded. Succeeded, yes. OFARENDE prayed. Throughout the preparation period, Ebony believed she would be, maybe able to do, maybe they or their group will be able to do, the wahala, how even the prayers they made in the palace caused a whole lot of problems. I think few days before OFARENDE, they came there, there was this prayer that happened. So that with all the drama that unfolded during the prayer, where some people had come to, warn the jewel not to pray there again, not to do that kind of prayer and all of that. Now, seeing the caliber of people that came, that were upset about, the jewel praying in her own, space in the palace. And seeing that level of anger, a lot of people were very skeptical. I'm not going to lie to you. Myself, I was skeptical. I felt like, this whole thing was going to pack up. I felt like, they would do something to ruin this. But, when God's hand is in, when God's hand is in something, there is nothing any man can do to stop it. OFARENDE has been something that, they have tried to stop with in fact, they said one of the toughest times of the Great Lion has been, the full moon ritual, then this OFARENDE. Nobody ever thought that OFARENDE would be this tough. But, it was so tough because of the number of people and the group of people who never wanted it to hold, because they knew that. Soon as Ofarende succeeds, the woman has already entered. Now, have you seen what is going on? Have you, I may not have videos to be showing you here because it was a very private event, but some of the clips of, as in, a lot of clips are already, making rounds on internet. Not of Ofarende clips, but the jewel being with the great lion, with their son Prince T, and everything. Okay. Now, when you say the jewel being with the great lion, you could hear her voice, but they will not show her because of the loss of the land, right? Have you seen how everything is looking different? Did you feel, if you have ever seen any of those videos, did you look at the body language of the great king? As in, did you observe the body language of the king to see how happy he was, how free he was? He was like an ordinary person on those videos, playing with the sun, praying for the sun, and all of that. This is what love does, and this happens to be the things that God can do in a situation. Oh my God has got this. When I was talking about Ofarende, I know that there were some people who will come and say one thing, it will never happen in. See, when it comes to De La Ram, I know they do cho. I know they do cho. See, there are bloggers and there are bloggers. When a person is blogging from, real information, you should be able to know. You should be able to distinguish between a blogger who is blogging from real information and a blogger who is just sitting down and cooking up stories. You should distinguish them, okay? Ofarende came, and Ofarende was a huge success. Even what the enemy had plotted, one of the elders that was supposed to be part of Ofarende became honestly sick. It was all the plan and strategy of the enemy, but God came strong because the great lion anticipated all of those incidences and made adequate provision for plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. Yes, that was what happened. The people who were frowning were frowning. The ones who were unhappy, they were unhappy. But God has shown himself strong. God has shown us that, yes, indeed, he is God. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged rumors, unverified information making the rounds on social media. Should not be seen as fact.